You are a natural bodybuilder. Yes, you do take certain amount of supplements, and you're against steroids. So, do tell our viewers what is the difference between a supplement and steroids, and what are the negative and positives?
People used to do a natural tan, lie in the sun, and then get the sun bath tan done. So the darker you are, and when you're exposed to light, your definition looks way better.
Alright, Shodan, so tell us, how does it feel representing India in bodybuilding? Like, it's a huge honor, first of all.
Yeah, definitely, because anybody into sports or anybody getting into a competitive thing, representing the country, and then when you have a passion for the sport or something you do, and then you take it to the next level, you kind of what would I say? You kind of show your performance or your capability in an international stage is always a great factor. Plus, for me, looking at my dad who was competing for 20 years and he was competing internationally, following his footsteps before I even started training and competing. I had dreams of saying to get into the Indian team jersey and then competing at the world stage and then winning at the world stage. So that was always my dream, and so definitely when it comes to representing the country, that was like the ideal goal, because I mean when you're in sports, that's like the ultimate goal thing, for any of them actually. So definitely honored.
One of the best feelings in the world. I remember seeing a picture of yours with the Indian blazer and the passport that you're traveling somewhere.
Yeah, I mean even that, and then mom carrying my Indian team jersey. So that's like a huge big side for me, because it's always the family which has kind of backed me from the beginning.
Pillar support.
Yeah, pillar. Even though coming from a medium class family, middle class family actually, I mean looking at dad competing, irrespective of what I'm doing in education, I mean whatever other than the basic degree, they never pushed me to kind of or they were strict about saying, okay, you have to do a doctor or an engineering as such. They're like, okay, if you're keen about bodybuilding, go ahead, we'll support you. Even brother in that case, they're like always backing me. So with such a support in the house, and when you have an interest of competing internationally, I don't think I should have looked back and then pursued something else.
You're happy where you are right now?
Definitely. Maybe some more medals and achievements, or a lot more
coming
in the future, but otherwise till now, no regrets. I had to sacrifice on some of the job opportunities which dad wanted me to get into, but end of the day he was like happy with me competing and then doing whatever, following his footsteps. I'm like, had to sacrifice a few things, but no regrets. End of the day.
Now you're in a very good zone, a good place.
And then doing something what I like to do, and then competing at my own pace, and then my own kind of thoughts, and then disciplines. So, yep.
How did you start this journey? I know it would be hard in the beginning. So, how did this journey start for you to get into bodybuilding, and that too to stay natural? Since he's a natural bodybuilder. So how was the journey?
Again, all started when dad was competing, and then we were always looking at him competing and then working out his preparations either in the house in terms of his diet, his posing, his workouts in the gym. He used to take us along. I have an elder brother too. So he used to take both of us with him when he's working out or when he's competing. So we used to go sit and watch him work out. His friends and his teammates used to work out, and at that minute I kind of got inclined with the posing routine. So I was probably in my 7th year at that time, and then I started posing and all, and then he found that I had that inclination towards bodybuilding at that age, And then anytime if there's a person or any relatives coming home, he would ask me to get on the table, start posing. My brother was more into outdoor activities and then martial arts at that time, so he would show some of his karate moves and
Usually
stuff.
they used to like come beta sing, say something,
Yeah.
say some dialogues from Bollywood. For you, it is about.
So in my case, it's like just strip, get on the t-shirt, get on your posing trunks, get on the table, start posing.
You can see it; it's coming through the family. It's
Yeah,
like,
definitely,
yeah.
not at all a doubt, because mom also been active in sports,
Okay.
and dad's been initially he started off as an asthma patient, and then he got into workouts, which kind of helped me or realized that he should get into bodybuilding because of his mentors seeing that potential in him,
Okay.
saying, okay, why don't you consider bodybuilding? Because since he was working out and he had to work out to get rid of his condition, and then he worked out, and then his mentors, coach saw the potential in him and asked him to start competing, and he started competing in the university level, and then he got onto Vijaya Bank through a sports quota. He was competing for Vijaya Bank and representing India at that stage. And
Oh,
then
he's already represented India at that stage already.
yeah, 91 was his first international in the US. He won silver over there for India. And then 93 was another international in Australia. He won fourth. 95 was another international in Australia uh, representing India. He plays, I think, sixth over there in the worlds. So every time then we would have a school holiday, coming back to how our workout started,
Yeah.
me and my brother. Uh, we would work out every year, twice a month during our school holidays,
Okay.
where we were given access to the gym, so that during holidays it was fine to work out. And then once the school started, we were kind of taken away from the gym. Only reason being, I wouldn't focus on studies
yeah.
if I was still
At
working
that period,
out.
that
Yeah,
would go through any parent's mind.
true. They don't want the education part to be
Part of it,
disturbed.
yeah.
So we used to work out even at the age of 10 is when I first started my workouts. And then only during school holidays is when I used to work out, and then follow a kind of a diet in the sense of what dad used to follow.
That's what I was about to ask you. Like during school, did you just go and work out, or did you have like a proper routine of diet and workout? What every professional right now does. Was it already set into you back then?
It kind of, but diet not exactly, because we were still young, like 10,
Yeah,
10
exactly.
years. 10 years, you don't need too much of a restriction for your child. So you don't want them to get under a lot of restrictions, because that's the age when you're growing. And then even though it was like a 2 months in a year, we would still be given whatever healthy options or the supplements at that time, which used to be natural grains, and then ingredients which is done at home, which would be equivalent to our
Dairy
supplements,
products or
what we
something,
get now. So we used to be given those things since we were working out, and then we would see some changes also. So just to put into that, get into that healthy eating habits. So for 2 months in a year, we used to work out, and then after 2 months, once the school starts, me and brother, both of us were kind of taken off the workouts. And then after 10th is when I was kind of given access to work out throughout the year. So I was sent to a gym where dad's students had they were operating a gym in Sadashinagar. So I used to travel from Pina to Sadashinagar.
Wow.
And then got into the college team, started competing. So at the age of 16 is when I first started competing. So it's been like 20 years now. Yeah.
What do they look at? Sorry, just to interrupt. What do they look at when you're in a competition? What do they judge you on?
End of the day, it's comparing you to the other person. So who is in your category and on the stage with you, you have to be more proportionate. You have to be, when I say proportionate, you have to have muscles on your calves till the neck.
Okay.
So you have to be proportionate everywhere, and then defined, and then the way you pose, the stage presence, all those things make a difference. And end of the day, you compare yourself with the others, you have to stand out. You can't just be big and
People
then
talk about the paper thin skin, your
that's okay,
vascularity and
but
all
this is all about the visibility thing. You don't go examine the skin for measurements or the thickness of the skin, but I mean, the thinner your skin is, the more defined you look.
Exactly.
Provided you're tanned properly these days, and then the lighting is proper and stuff.
That's one thing I want to ask. Why do people look so tanned during a thing? Because the face looks completely different and it looks like the body is completely different when you see a picture. Why is that?
The whole idea being, when we get on stage, we usually have to take off the hair. So the less hair on the skin is more visibility of your definition on the muscle.
Okay.
So that's one thing, and then you have to apply. Earlier it used to be just oil, plain oil. The tan was not at that time introduced. People used to do a natural tan, lie in the sun, and then get the sun bath tan done. So the darker you are, and when you're exposed to light, your definition looks way better.
Okay, so that's the reason.
So when you don't apply a tan when you're fair, especially people in terms of in some conditions when somebody is fair and then they get on stage, apply oil with the lights on, you kind of start looking a little soft. Your definition kind of fades out. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of them who have lost marks at that age, at that time, compared to the darker guys. But over a period of time, when bodybuilding has kind of transformed, these days tan is kind of a mandatory thing, because definitely the person who looks darker on stage, definitely with enough muscularity, will stand out and get more marks compared to the person who's not applied a tan.
Wow.
So irrespective of you liking the tan or not, you end up putting a tan,
It's
applying.
a necessary thing, right?
Yeah, applying a tan so that you get more points. I mean, face parts, some of them are not particularly wearing the tan on the face because they're kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it looks better when you're applying the whole.
And then it looks like one body, otherwise it looks two different. Yeah.
So tan is kind of a mandatory thing these days, I would say.
I had no idea about that. I had to know it from him. Okay, right. So the next question is, you're a natural bodybuilder. Yes, you do take certain amount of supplements, and you're against steroids. So do tell our viewers, what is the difference between a supplement and steroids, and what are the negative and positives, that at least some highlights, so that we don't get into details, something that would help them and know that not to get into certain things or what to get into, at least some kind of idea.
Being natural, I mean, supplements are allowed, but anything artificial in terms of your growth hormones or your anabolic steroids, which are definitely for a shorter purpose, like instant boost or instant growth, or I would say a faster result, which is very common in sports, because that's what it's like a driving factor for athletes to reach the heights, break the records and stuff. I mean, that's the thing, that's the mindset people have, actually the athletes have in mind. And also, as like I was saying, competing and representing India was my ultimate goal. Everyone would love to do that, and then competing at the international stage, to do it faster is when you get onto an artificial substance, which is harmful in a longer run, definitely. Because whatever said and done, even if the coaches might say it's not harmful, just you can do once and leave it and all those things.
One cycle they call it.
Yeah, anything, but even if it's anything artificial getting into your system, your body is not allowed, or body is not kind of designed to take that. So your body definitely would kind of respond in different ways, because I wouldn't be the right person to talk about it, because each person responds, or each body responds in a different way. So the doctor would be able to examine how each banned substance would work on each person. Also, the other thing is having a certified or a qualified physician to do this is what people will look into, and then if you're not having the right guidance, then it's definitely a no. But definitely shortcuts, proteins are kind of okay, because proteins, as long as it's genuine, again,
Like whey protein,
all these aminos, and then the glutamine.
do you suggest mass gainers or fat burners, all this? Because I hear a lot of people who talk about who are lean, like I'm lean, but I don't really concentrate on gaining mass, but I know people who are lean and want to gain weight.
Mass gainers are okay, as long as any of these products, as long as it's genuine and it's not adulterated, as long as it's from natural products, it's still allowed. It makes it easier, because I mean, it's not like every one of us stay at home, work out, rest and stay at home again.
Yeah, that's true.
Because most of us are on our toes, so when we are on the move, it's difficult to pick up food, what you need to eat to reach your goal. So in that case, you will have to carry these supplements. It's easier, in fact, carry the supplements, have it on the go, so you kind of get to the gym, work out, and then you see your results happening and then reach your goal.
True.
So that's when supplements would be good. I mean, I would say it's not an harmful thing, at least.
Okay.
Because as long as you know where it's coming from, supplements are fine, but you just have to be careful not to overdo any of them.
I've heard of kidney stones, and because people don't drink enough water after taking it and all that, so people have to be careful about.
Yeah, that's just one of the things, because water intake has to be good. That's when I said you don't have to overdo, you shouldn't be overdoing it. That's one of the things. And also, when you're talking about the fat burners, I wouldn't advise that to a general public, because it's only based on each person's goal.
Yeah.
If it's a requirement, you need to consult the doctor and then take it, because it depends on each person's body condition. Like I might not be able to, my body might not be able to take it, another person's body might be able to take it. So it doesn't mean that I replicate and then look at him taking it and I take it without the consent of a
Genetics
doctor.
also.
Genetics, and then your body conditions also. Like each person's, your blood pressure would vary, your heart condition would vary, your hormonal changes. So it can be a huge pattern. Your lifestyle. Each person would not, everyone wouldn't rest the same way like how the other person does. One might be struggling to get a quality sleep. Like if you're not resting enough, if you're not eating enough, if you're not balancing your lifestyle, you will have to be one step back and be true to yourself, saying, okay, this is not meant for me, I shouldn't be doing it. But in terms of natural, what we're talking, yeah, no anabolics, no artificial substance, because it's like a short burst. You do see a lot of changes in a short time, but it can hamper your body in a lot of ways which you wouldn't, I mean, which is not worth it. Because that's why we get tested every twice or thrice a year when I compete, saying, and the federations where I compete is completely tested natural.
What is the process like? What do they do? What do they look into?
We have a urine test and the blood sample testing.
Okay.
So basically, WADA, World Anti-Doping Association, has a list of things which are banned.
Okay.
So when you give your urine sample or the blood sample, you need to come out clean, saying any of these substances which is mentioned in the WADA list shouldn't be available, or you shouldn't test positive for that.
Okay.
So
How long is the ban? Do they ban you, or do they give you a warning, or how's it?
no warning. I mean, initially before you start competing there, they would have briefed you about
Everything.
what are the pros and cons, what you're supposed to do and what not. So in spite of that, you come out positive, you would be banned for life. Depends on the federation. Some of the federations which are not so strict, they would just kind of ban them for like 2-3 years and then give them a penalty as such. But in some of the stricter and the serious federations, they can even ban you for life. For them, for the athletes competing in that particular federation, they can go to another federation and stuff.
Okay, you can go move on.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
So there is still an option for bodybuilders to, but you still suggest WADA?
I mean, WADA is like a standard for all the athletes,
Okay.
like any sport, not just WADA is like an anti-doping association, but INBA is where I compete, and then there are different federations, but I prefer competing in INBA because of the athletes over there who are like more serious and then true to the federation, and then who kind of abide by the rules of the federation. So which is what I kind of like, and they're strict about the testing.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, that's one thing, but there are a lot of federations still which wouldn't talk about the testing, which means that okay, you don't have to be natural.
I know you have a couple of brands under you, so could you tell our viewers what kind of brands and products that you have on board?
Couple of dimensions, like one is into corporate management, and then the setup of health clubs.
Okay.
And it can be a university health club or a corporate or an independent like a standalone gym. So we just manage and outsource training staff for them. That's under the name of Ono Life.
Okay.
The other one is Burnout, which covers the gyms and then the supplement stores. Gym being in Mangalore,
Okay.
and then couple of stores of supplements, one in Bangalore and one in Mangalore. So that's what with a friend of mine I look into or I work on. Other than that, I still do personal training, freelance personal training in Bangalore. So that's like two dimensions of what I personally do other than competing.
Okay. So I know that you have worked with a lot of celebrities. So could you name a few who you have worked with, and how is your experience, and what kind of training do they ask you to guide them through?
Yeah, few of the celebrities, not a lot of them, but each one of them, depending on their goals or their profession, is what their requirement changed. Like there was Nikhil, who was getting into movies, and then he had to transform. Nikhil Gowda, he had to transform to lose weight from what he was to his first movie role.
Okay.
And then there was Chaitanya Hegde, who was a famous RJ from Bangalore, and then there was Rakesh Siddaramaiah, who's no more. So he was training with me for a year or so. So I mean, in his case, it was more of his lifestyle management stuff.
Okay.
In terms of being busy with his political career and stuff, he had to just maintain his fitness levels.
Yeah.
So more healthy, and then stay stronger and fitter,
Yeah.
and then healthy because in spite of whatever his going around the state for his political thing or erratic sleep patterns and stuff. And then Mayuri Upadhyaya, who's a well-known dancer.
Master dancer, she's judging that.
Yeah, so
Wife of Raghu Dixit.
so we managed to work out in the mornings.
Yeah.
I mean, she's into fitness from a long time. I've been seeing her since 2006, where she was personally dancing, and now she's moved on from dancing to choreography and then judging.
Yeah.
So other than that, there's real estate guns from Bangalore, and then some of the celebrities. Other celebrities include actors and actresses. Actresses being Pragna, and then there was Aviva, who used to work out earlier with the and Adam used to train. I used to train him for a while.
So, what is your secret behind bodybuilding? Because you've reached that level right now, and there should be something that people would want to know that you could be using in terms of motivating yourself for gaining that muscle, or what is it? What is that secret?
Well, that's like the most common questions I've gone through, but that's an interesting one too, because we usually tend to complicate ourselves a lot, whereas I mean, comparing that question to my profession and bodybuilding, in my life personally, I mean, there's no secret actually, because it's just a universal thing. I mean, you just have to understand your own body type, and then rest is just universal. We just usually tend to complicate ourselves in terms of diet or exercise or your lifestyle. So
it's like overloading yourself with information is what you're saying?
Overloading is still fine, but implementing it is where it all goes wrong.
That is the line.
Yeah,
Thin
exactly.
line, yeah.
Because people always think, okay, there's something more. You have to do a lot more in terms of eating to see changes. You have to do a lot more in terms of working out to see changes. There is some other secret, but actually, if you see, it's just a universal thing in terms of your workout or your food or your rest or your lifestyle. Because in terms of eating, it's just a basic thing. You need to know your body and you need to know your goal. Accordingly, you just have to plan your diet. And your workout wise, there's no secrets also.
There's no shortcuts.
No shortcuts, no secrets. You just have to be patient.
Yeah.
But two important things I would say is you have to be patient.
Yeah.
Because when you lose patience is when you start kind of looking at all the shortcuts
That's true.
and then the loopholes and stuff. So patience is one thing which you need to practice, and then other than that would be a goal.
Yeah.
So keep a goal in mind, so you kind of reach there, but be patient.
That's what, it's hard work. So you got to
Hard
grind
work,
it every day to reach that. Otherwise, it's not that easy to get the body you have. Like
Hard work definitely, but when you lose patience, it gets harder.
Yeah.
And that's when you look at all other possibilities to run around.
Beats that.
Yeah, so but as long as you know your body type, your goal, you will definitely tend to put things in place in terms of your workout, which is just based on your body type, what you need to do, what exercise you need to do. Don't overtrain. Simple thing. Don't overdo with your food also, or don't undereat. Stick to what you need to eat. Stick to basics, no complicated stuff. See where you've come from, what your body understands, what your body understands or accepts better.
Is it more of from your family genetics?
Makes a difference,
that
yeah.
You can understand that, okay, since my family is not into fitness, so there is something I have to do, or is it a per person?
I mean, genetics is something what I've heard people talk a lot about, which is, in a way I would say it is important, but it's not everything.
Okay.
Because even if you have a good genetics, you can still mess it up.
Yeah.
So even if you have a bad genetic, you can still kind of change it from your lifestyle and compromise it to some extent, to a lot of extent actually.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just the genetic, I mean the genetics which will kind of help you do everything. You will have to handle the genetics well. So you have to eat accordingly, according to what your goals are, your body type, and what you've been eating or what you've been brought up eating. So you just continue doing that, your body accepts that in a better way. So don't do too much of changes, don't experiment too many, I mean you have to experiment but not with everything.
Yeah, within control, within your limits.
Yeah, so and then even with workouts, knowing your body type, knowing your goal, stick to basics, don't overtrain.
Okay.
Because it's easy to overtrain, and the other important thing is people look into online YouTube and stuff, and then exercises which is for a general public,
Yeah.
or if it's something which is meant for that particular person which might not work on you.
Yeah.
So you apply it, but not everything. Whatever the exercise routines you can, but you need to kind of taper it down to your personal goals, your requirements. So keep your form in control,
Yeah.
your posture.
Yeah, exactly. That's
balance
another
it.
thing I want to tell, that people come in the gym and lift heavy and like they feel
Yeah.
like wow, but they don't realize even if you take a 10 kg dumbbell and you
And do it the right way,
you still hit it.
yeah,
right
and also the
spots.
person in the video might be very flexible doing the range of motion properly.
Yeah.
You can't replicate the same thing on you, because if your flexibility is less, if your body doesn't allow you to do certain exercises, you can't force to do those exercises. So just keep it simple. Best thing is to have a coach around you, at least for a while. If you, I mean, a lot of us have, as we know, we have issues, kind of, I would say, to hire a coach, or in terms of financially to have a coach.
But
So
if they don't understand you,
yeah, I mean that's where the idea of a good coach comes into, or a concept of good coach comes into play. Let the person know you, and then train for a couple of
Yeah.
months at least, get to know, and then you start
Go ahead.
training on your own. But yeah, I mean patience is one thing, and then your goal. So it shouldn't be just a short time. Let it be like a lifestyle thing, because
change it into a lifestyle.
yeah, I mean you have to also think of your family,
Yeah.
which puts in so much of an effort, support you, and then I mean you don't want to end up with a bad health after a couple of years, wherein you wouldn't be able to do anything after that.
Yeah.
So that's like a
Jeopardizing it.
yeah. So that's seriously a no, I would say.
So this is the ending of the segment, and I would like to ask you, what is that one advice you would give for people who want to get into bodybuilding or want to get into the gym and start working out? Do you have an advice, and is there a cycle that they could follow, for at least for beginners, that you would recommend from your side, that at least people who don't know at least can listen to this and be like, okay, I'll follow this and see how it goes, and then learn from
Yeah,
there.
each gym, when you hit the gym, you're always taken through a process where you meet the trainers. They speak about themselves to the trainer, so that's when the trainer gets to know your lifestyle, your body type and stuff. So based on that, there's always a workout routine designed. So you just have to follow that, than randomly you hitting the gym,
Yeah.
being on your own. If you know stuff really well, then it's fine. Otherwise, it's always advisable to meet the professional, talk to them, explain things, follow their guidelines in terms of what to do on a beginner level and an intermediate level, then the advanced level. So it makes a huge difference, so that you kind of don't end up injuring yourself and taking the wrong path. Yeah.
Any advice?
Advice, just be realistic. I mean, be patient. That's one thing I would say. And then think of your health than just making short-term gains. And then be consistent, which is always helpful. And then balance it with your lifestyle. It's not just the workout, because if you're just into workout, it's still fine. Otherwise, you'll have to balance your lifestyle with your workouts and your work, and then your social life and everything. So it's all about balancing with your eating habits, your social activities, and then your workouts.
Whole package.
Yeah, you just have to balance.
Just to go day in and day out every
Yeah,
day.
it's all about balancing and then keeping it for a longer term.
So I go to the gym and I meet my friends in the evening, and they, since they see me every day hitting the gym and coming back and meeting these guys, so they're like, they want to work out as well, but they aren't getting off their asses and going to work.
Not
And-
motivated enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is your suggestion to them? Because there'll be a lot of people who watch but mentally want to go, but physically aren't reaching the gym.
Okay. Yeah, we do see a lot of people have that issue, but the main important thing would be you just focus on your interests Like some of them would be inclined towards group exercise, some of them would be inclined towards weight training, some of them towards an outdoor activity.
Yeah.
So choose your own
Your
interested
thing,
field.
yeah.
So stick to that like 3 days a week, and maybe add a day of yoga and a day of weight training, because that will be a complete balance. Like if you're already doing a strength training, then focus one day of an outdoor activity and yoga. So that's like a balance, and then set shorter and the realistic goals,
Yeah,
which will kind of make it easier, because when you don't have a goal set, you don't have what you have to work for.
That drive won't be there.
Yeah,
It
and
could be
then
like 3-4 days you work out and then you just drop out.
exactly. So it can be either you run a half marathon or you run a 5K. If somebody's not into running at all, just start off with a realistic goal, like 5K, and then start lifting weights if that's your goal. Increase the strength. You'll have to hit certain amount of strength levels. That can be your goal, or can be a goal where you look somewhat different in terms of your fat percentage, where you have to drop 5% of fat from example 20% to 15. So that can be your goal. So that can always kind of keep you on the go. Hire a trainer who will actually kind of keep hitting on you,
pushing you.
yeah, saying be in the gym, you have to change. So very, useful for somebody like that actually, I would say.
And
not because I'm a personal trainer, but realistically.
Oh, yeah. And another thing, I want to know, see, there are a lot of people who drink a lot at the same time they work out. So how good or bad is the effect of alcohol on a person who's training out in the gym?
It definitely does have an impact. Like any of these, I wouldn't say it's. It is an artificial thing, right?
Yeah.
So anything which it kind of impacts your body, it does affect your workout routine or your improvement in the game or your performance. So it can be the oxygen supply to your muscle from through the blood, or it can be various things, lack of focus, lack of sleep. So any of these things, as long energy, as long as you're keeping that in control, is always good for your improvement.
So you say once a week is good?
It's okay as long as you're in moderation.
Oh.
It's all about
Coming from
it's all about keeping it in moderation. Anything you do, it's not like you don't have to eat a particular thing. You can eat anything you want, but you have to keep it in moderation and then strike that balance.
Everything is a balance right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so my partners they're into sports and fitness.
Okay.
And they're called 16 inches.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so this is a small gift from their side to you.
Cool.
They cater to a lot of sportsmen, so this is from them. 16 inches. I
16
hope it
inches
comes
of
in use.
16 inches of biceps.
Yeah, biceps. Don't
Okay.
get me wrong.
Okay, it's a fancy looking shaker. Yeah. Thank you.
So
Thanks
thank
so
you
much.
so much for coming on the show. You gave us a lot of information.
My pleasure.
And I'm really honored to be sitting next to you. And I hope
It's my pleasure.
Don't say that.
Talking to another Mangalorean.
Yeah, Mangaloreans all the way. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this show. I had a good time with him. He gave me a lot of insights. And anything else you like to share with your viewers?
Just stay fit, stay active, be consistent.
Stay
That's
healthy.
important. Stay healthy. Yep. Stay natural.
Yeah, stay natural.
Yeah.